Power Rangers Ninja Storm for Game Boy Advance. Based on the 2003 incarnation of the long-running Power Rangers franchise and the third Power Rangers game overall to grace the Game Boy Advance, following a rather putrid side-scrolling platformer in Time Force and a somewhat decent isometric brawler in Wild Force, Power Rangers Ninja Storm lets you unleash the Power Rangers of the Wind and Thunder Academies on fallen ninja warlord Lothor and his band of outcasts and misfits in both side-scrolling platforming action and awesome Megazord battles. It's a fairly long adventure, but fortunately you can use passwords to resume your progress. Yippee! Unlike past Power Ranger games where you could choose from any of the 5 or 6 available Rangers of a team, Ninja Storm opts to give you the choice between 3 teams of Rangers: the Red, Yellow, and Blue Wind Rangers, the Crimson and Navy Thunder Rangers, and the Green Samurai Ranger. No, not that Green Samurai Ranger, although that's kind of cute. On the surface, all play similarly to each other. All the Rangers have a sword or blade weapon that can be powered up to perform quick combos. All Rangers can subsequently acquire a long-range blaster weapon that can be also powered up to fire at a faster rate. All of the Rangers could block, and all the Rangers can swap between the different members, with the exception of the Green Samurai Ranger, who could swap between his regular form and his Super Samurai form. Oh, and all of them have a special move that can be used to ease up the tension and can only be performed with a full power meter. However, it's the minor differences between the 3 sets that make all the differences. The Wind Rangers are your standard stock Rangers, but the Thunder Rangers can charge their weapons to perform more powerful attacks, which isn't really saying much, but hey, it's something. Likewise, Green Samurai Ranger has no blaster, but rather a flame whip looking thing that dishes out a bit more damage. Green Samurai Ranger can also switch to Super Samurai mode, where he gains a bit of a power boost but incrementally loses health as long as he's in this mode. Additionally, each set of Rangers have slight variations of level progression. For example, when the Thunder Rangers are captured by Chobo, they are taken to a mystical realm where they can fight clones of each other, but the rest of the Rangers are fighting on the streets and forests and stuff, resulting in a different level path before reconvening on the common path in the forest. Likewise, whereas all the other Rangers will take the subway, Green Samurai Ranger will take it to the rooftops. It's these little touches that actually gives Ninja Storm a bit of a uniqueness among the 3 sets of Rangers, and almost merits playing through the game as the different teams. Keyword being almost. Ninja Storm lets you choose from 3 skill settings, but the overall game generally isn't that difficult, especially once you pick up a blaster weapon and power it up to full force so that you can start spraying bullets all over the place. But even so, the standard grunts do little more than gang up on you while occasionally performing some advanced fighting techniques to throw you off guard. Really, the true threat in Ninja Storm comes mainly from whatever environmental hazards and obstacles are coming your way, whether it be flamethrowers or barrels or things of that nature, and these bits are far few in between. The boss fights might pose a bit more of a challenge, but if you got a long-range weapon on hand, pelt away and virtually all challenge is removed, which, all things considered, is a negligible factor in a game that feels less than exciting. And then we have the Megazord Fights, which is less direct fighting and more quick-time events where you press a corresponding button and direction on the D-pad to successfully land attacks. Insert the wrong combination or take too long and your opponent will land his own attack. And the whole idea behind this tug-of-war of quick-time events is basically to fill the bottom meter with red to defeat your opponent, while preventing your opponent from filling the meter with purple, which will cost you a life and extend the pain. The Megazord you control largely depends on the Ranger Squadron you've selected, but that's rather irrelevant because it's all the same thing anyways. This is sleep-inducing, dull, boring, goddamn the pain away monotony at its absolute pinnacle, and it's made worse by the fact that the attacks are represented by the same 2 or 3 animated sequences being replayed over and over again. While these animations are something decent for the first couple times you see them, they get repetitive and they just take too long to be over and done with. Although to be fair, I probably wouldn't have minded this too much if they had just given each fighter their own health meter instead of this tug-of-war thing, which just drags the fight on forever, much longer than necessary. But either way, I would have been happier with just a proper fighting system in place of whatever this is. Well, at least the game looks alright. Yeah, but seriously, Ninja Storm sports some fairly decent visuals, nothing amazing, but good enough that it doesn't look like utter crap. The Rangers themselves are nicely rendered and animate smoothly as they move about all over the place, and of course the same could be said for the various monsters that you'll come across, such as the grunts and other monsters. most of which are thankfully taken from the television show rather than being crummy original creations like in past iterations. Now the stages themselves are your stock looking backdrops like city streets, subways, forests, and things of that nature. They look decent for the most part, nothing spectacular but nothing horribly offensive. The Megazord Fights, while a chore to play through, actually look pretty decent for what it's worth. The animations for the various cinematics, while sporting a few frames at most, are at least nicely rendered and play out pretty smoothly, sort of like a primitive form of full motion video, except without the full motion or the video. But yeah, visually speaking, Ninja Storm looks alright. It's not my cup of tea, but it looks better than the pixel diarrhea that is Time Force a couple entries ago. As far as sound goes, there's very little for me to say in this regard. Sound effects are your average collection of punches, kicks, and explosive sound effects. They are what they are, they get the job done, and the music comprises totally generic half-assed tunes that are entirely forgettable, just there for the sake of being there. Nothing terrible, but nothing great, that's it. For what it's worth, half of Power Rangers Ninja Storm is okay but dull. Just straightforward side-scrolling action with some platforming elements and little else in terms of variety. The other half of Power Rangers Ninja Storm is just boredom incarnate. Quick time events paired with repetitive animations and drawn out tug-of-war garbage. The end result is a game that is neither good enough to be great nor bad enough to be worse. It's just another relatively mediocre Power Rangers offering on the Game Boy Advance to add to the lot. To put a bottom line on this, Power Rangers Ninja Storm on the Game Boy Advance might be enough to amuse the kids if nothing else. But for those looking for a bit more meat or anything worthwhile, your efforts are better spent elsewhere because this just won't cut it.